Hello and welcome to another video from the fanpub.com. I've got Sean with me again.
Yep, well, good to be back.
What we're doing today, Sean, is looking to draft the best team available. So pick the best player available. That's our strategy.
It's a good. A lot of people really like this kind of strategy. You know, you see this in a lot of forum boards. They always talk about best player available. So we're going to do that now. How this actually really works, I know in a minute you're going to tell us what format we're going to use, but just to outline how it would work is the idea is that you want to still want to mitigate risk, so you're not going to pick players that have risk attached, especially early on, and you're going to try your best to balance your team. Always be mindful of what you've already got and what you still need, while at the same time trying to get the best lineup throughout the whole of the team. And best player available also does throw up some interesting wrinkles as you near the end of the draft, but we'll talk about that when we get there.
Okay, so we're in a 12-team league. We've got pick 6.
Standard scoring?
It's standard scoring, yeah, normal redraft league. So basically our options are David Johnson, Peterson, Hopkins, Elliott. So
I like the three immediate options there with Johnson, Peterson and Hopkins. Each one of those is fabulous. You know my thoughts on Johnson's, but let's debate it out. We're looking for safe. We're looking for best player available. We're looking at those kind of things. So if we're being honest, if we're taking best player available, we would actually slightly red flag David Johnson because he's only had a small body of work. Yeah. And we want to kind of, if we were looking for less risk, of course, we would take Peterson. He's been there, done it, worn the t-shirt, and constantly ends up in the top. And we could also put DeAndre Hopkins in that batch.
I think Ezekiel Elliott would be a definite no.
No.
I mean, if you wanted DeAndre Hopkins, I think I'd rather Johnson or Peterson ahead of him.
Yeah, I agree. So,
I'd happily take Johnson though.
Okay, so let's go with David Johnson because we believe in him, and I do believe in him massively. So I'm happy.
I mean, if you prefer Peterson, you know, there's not a lot in it, so you know.
So we're happy to get David Johnson. So that's at one running back, so we can anchor that. Now we're going to be careful now with next pick because we want to make sure we have a bit of a balance to the squad. So ideally, you want a wide receiver here, but you look to see what comes up. So let's see what's come up.
Okay, so it's shown we've got an interesting quandary. Obviously, Jeffrey's got a few red flags. We've got Devontae Freeman and Mark Ingram at the running back, and then Mike Evans is interesting at wide receiver.
Well, I'll tell you what I will do is I'm going to ignore the experts here.
You've got Eddie Lacy.
I'm going to go on a hunch. Okay, so the hunch here, what we could do is we could look at players like, if they haven't already been picked, I see that Brandon Marshall was already previously gone.
Yeah, Brandon Marshall's gone.
I don't like Jordy Nelson anyway in this round, but what I do like is if I wanted to go with a player who I really believe in, I would either take Evans here or Cooper quite happily. Take a wide receiver and go for safety. I like Cooper because I believe in the upsides there, but
I think Cooper's got more upside. I think Evans has got the lower floor.
Yeah,
because he's going to get the yards definitely, and he didn't score many touchdowns last year. I mean, he's bound to build on that.
Here's where this is quite clever because we're taking best player available. We've got with Cooper, the upside is him and Carr have played together in the off season for 3 months, so they've practiced all the time. They're actually living as like you do when you're sharing dormitory. They're actually rooming together. They're actually literally knowing each other inside and out, how their families work, spending time with their different families, understanding each other's life. That massively.
So a bit like the Brady Edelman.
Yeah, and that massively translates on when you get onto the field. So if I'm being honest, looking at what's going to happen, he got 140 fantasy points last year with a bad foot for 3 weeks. You've only got to escalate that a tiny bit, and you're looking at a 165, 180 player easy, and who knows how much more it could be.
Okay, so you want to go for Cooper?
I'm going to go with Cooper because it's just such an easy pick and very safe. So I'm ignoring the experts a little bit here because I'm looking at something a little different for best player available. For me, he's the best player in that bunch left.
Okay, we'll go Amari Cooper. And obviously, I mean, you can pick whoever you
could take Evans there quite happily. It's still safe, but I'm just looking at a better situation really.
Okay, so
should get interesting.
We're on round 3, pick 6.
So we've got a nice balance so far. We've got one running back, one wide receiver. Now we can decide who's the best available and who we like.
Okay, so running back, we've got Carlos Hyde, Thomas Rawls, Latavius Murray, Matt Forte. We've got a choice of quarterbacks. We've got wide receiver, we've got Watkins and Demaryius Thomas.
Well, there's a lot to like in this, but we're talking about best players. So as it's fallen to us, we're now in the 3rd round of this draft. It might be a small draft, but Cam Newton's sitting there. I can't pass him by. I'm taking the best player available.
Especially with the question marks over Hyde and Rawls and
yeah, I don't like Sammy Watkins.
Watkins. They've all had injuries.
Good player, but injuries. Carlos Hyde, I don't like the situation, like the player. And Thomas Rawls, I just don't know still. I've seen nothing yet. I'm assuming he's going to be back, and he probably is going to be a good value, but nobody's going to give me what Cam can do for this team.
I mean, if Cam repeats what he did last year, we'd be
anywhere
laughing.
near will be fine.
Yeah, we'd be laughing. Okay.
It's like getting a running back anyway, really, as well, on top of everything else.
Well, yeah, he 10 rushing touchdowns last year. So.
Now we can look and see, either a running back or another wide receiver. So, what options are available to us?
Well, we've got Randall Cobb, Jarvis Landry, Julian Edelman. We've got Jeremy Hill, Jonathan Stewart, DeMarco Murray, Ryan Matthews.
I like DeMarco Murray for this year.
I like DeMarco Murray, I like Jonathan Stewart.
Yeah.
I like Jarvis Landry.
I like that a lot. I mean, any of those I would quite happily pick here because I still think we can get another wide receiver to go what we've already got. So I think we should take another running back now because we kind of know that those players probably are not going to be there another round. So which one of those do you like?
I'd be happy with Stewart or Murray, I think.
Okay, well, I'll let you make the final say on this one because I don't mind either because we're just trying to get steady. We need solid. Who did you
Let's go
decide?
DeMarco Murray. He's got a lay-by week, so that I think can be
that could be a big win for us.
So you haven't got to worry about his bye
I'm very
week.
happy with that. Nice balance to the team. So we've got Cam Newton, David Johnson, DeMarco Murray, and Amari Cooper. We're going to look at another wide receiver now, but we've got to try and take away risks. They're offering us Julian Edelman. I'm very worried about that. I would very much steer clear when I'm looking at best player available. For me, best player isn't necessarily just the best player for points available. It's what they're actually going to do for safety. Are there any other wide receivers still left that have
Golden
upside?
Tate, Doug Baldwin as potential opposite. Kelvin Benjamin, obviously he's back.
Yep.
Dante Moncrief, John Brown.
Dante Moncrief would be sneaky clever here because it's the upside to the team you're already building. He's your fifth pick. It would be quite easy. There's a reasonable shot that he could overtake T.Y. Hilton. Even if he doesn't, there's an explosion of points.
I think we could maybe wait around there. There's a few there that I don't think he's that far above anybody. That
do you fancy Doug Baldwin then? I
don't know. I think maybe we take another running back.
Okay.
Maybe Jeremy Langford.
Yeah, okay.
And then, because there's a few wide receivers there I'd be happy with. I mean, Larry Fitz even as a second wide receiver.
I'd be very happy with him. Okay, in this situation I agree with you, Al. I think I would defer to your logic there. Jeremy Langford would be very good considering we've already got two good starters. He could be a very good flex play.
Okay, Langford is a lot.
And let's see how
Because we're both quite high on him compared to where he's been drafted as ADP.
Absolutely, yeah. And you were right. Larry Fitzgerald's still there.
And John Brown's still there.
And
Jordan Matthews is
I
still
think
there.
Larry Fitzgerald is fabulous value here. Do you?
Yeah, I'm very happy with him. He's a class actor.
This looks like a really solid team. I mean, we've ended up with Newton, Johnson, Murray, Cooper.
He would be our third bye week 9 player, but I'm not too worried about that.
I think with the bench that we've got and spots, I think we can find more players to not worry about those bye
Are you happy with?
Still happy
Larry
to
Fitz?
take that, yeah.
Okay, he's a lock. So I'm looking at our team and I'm liking it a lot.
Now we need to think here a little bit more carefully because we've currently got 3 running backs. We've got 2 wide receivers. I think before we turn to a tight end, I've noticed John Brown's still on the board. I know it's another bye week 9 guy, which is a little bit worrying. That would be a concern for me now because trying to mitigate 4 is a bit of a problem. 3 you can cope with, which is a shame because I really do like him.
I do like him as well.
And I might be tempted to actually still take him, even though we've got 4 on a bye week. But we do have to be very mindful of this now.
Are you a fan of Jordan Matthews?
Yeah, I mean he's going to be solid, and there's no doubt.
I actually quite like Marvin Jones, but we might be able to wait around and get him.
Yeah, well maybe that's what we do. What about
And Tyler Lockett, I'd be happy with him.
Yeah, so
And Hearns, there's a few there.
What tight ends is available right now?
And Zach Ertz.
I think we can wait on tight ends again.
Yeah.
We'll do what we always do. So now we need to make a collective decision then on which of the players, underneath this that we would go with at this situation. I don't think we can afford to take John Brown. I don't think we can have another bye week 9.
I'd be happy to wait again and maybe pick a best running back, and because that can be a position that can be a problem.
Do you fancy with the running backs that are available then? Looking at the ones we've got here, we've got Matt Jones, Danny Woodhead, Amir Abdullah, Rashid Jennings, Chris Ivory, and TJ Yeldon. Do you think sneaky there somewhere? We could take a shot at maybe a Danny Woodhead or Amir Abdullah.
Yeah,
they're absolutely going to be on the bench. There's no doubt about it. But which one of those do you like that you feel comfortable taking? That could
I think
have an
if it's
upside?
obviously with Matt Jones' injury,
kind of rules him out.
Yeah.
You want to play safe a little.
Danny Woodhead, he's always underrated.
Yeah.
but who would we know when to play him? I suppose you could put him in for a flex position when you want it, but
Yeah, I'd be a bit wary of. I'd prefer,
Amir Abdullah's obviously an upcoming running back. I mean, he showed some explosiveness. Who's your favourite? Chris Ivory again. He could be quite solid.
Let's have a look further down.
Ajayi even.
Yeah, there's going to be some of these guys could well be there in another round, as you say.
Yeah, on both on wide receiver.
And I'm a little bit worried that we.
So who's the best player available then?
I'm actually going to go down and stretch a little. I want to take him now rather than wait and then see what else is available. I'm going to take Tyler Lockett.
Okay.
Because I think the upside is too valuable to pass on, and I like the situation in Seattle. He could end up becoming their wide receiver 1 this year. It has that kind of feel for it. I like his upside. So
I mean, he's not certainly a player with talent.
We don't have to worry. He's got the right kind of bye week for us to be able to slide him in if we need to. We know he's going to play.
We've still got John Brown available.
That's amazing. And I'm not surprised. And it's still very useful to our team. I mean, we've got 3 running backs. We've now got 3 wide receivers. We already have a quarterback. It looks like we're obviously going to wait on a tight end here, which seems to be a strategy.
Yeah, Antonio Gates, I like him a lot, but we can wait. I'm happy to wait.
Yeah,
I'm just fill up our main positions.
I'm happy to wait as well. We've still got Danny Woodard is still in there, which is interesting. There's a sneaky thing we could do right now. We're talking best player available. We've already got Cam Newton. How good would this be to take Tom Brady here? Because he's still on the board. And you've got the mix-up of using whichever situation you like with 2 elite quarterbacks.
That would be very powerful.
I like that situation.
Although passing on John Brown, even though he's bye week 9.
But bye week 9 is a problem. So because we can't afford. We're never going to get round the problem.
So where are we picking him? So it'd be 90. See, we're picking him in the hundreds. I think taking Brady in the hundreds is very,
very, very good. And the reason is we can then look at the matchups with this.
Bye week 9.
Who's that?
Bye week 9, but that's not a problem.
That's not a problem.
It doesn't clash with Cam, so that's the main thing.
The nice thing there for me is it's matchups. I mean, when he comes back in week 5, they play Cleveland. You couldn't get a sweeter situation. He's had 4 weeks rest. Cleveland will be battered.
And they'd be looking to make a point.
So it'll be excellent. Now we can have another look at our team and see how it's building.
And John Brown is still there.
Now it's a bit too difficult to pass up. I don't think we can keep.
I mean, because looking at the running backs, Charles Sims, Coleman, Bilal Powell, they're not as exciting as John Brown.
They're not as exciting as John Brown, and the chances are that Bilal Powell or Theo Riddick will be there when we come round again, and I'm happy to have one of them. So we take John Brown. We're not happy we've got these bye week 9s, but it just happens to be this way.
But if Fitz or Brown or Floyd go down, then these two, especially if Floyd goes down.
If the matchup is there, you can play both Fitzgerald and John Brown. Not saying that we would ever do that.
But you've got to think about tradable value as well. I mean,
there's some value to trade.
If John Brown, comes back and he has a lot of big weeks, and cash in on him.
This is interesting now. Now we've got 4 bench spots left, but I noticed at this moment in time, something that's flashed up on the screen that's given us an opportunity. It's actually the right time to actually offer us it very early in the draft. But we're talking best player available. They've offered us the Seattle defense. I will not hesitate and pull the trigger on them here because this is late enough into the draft. It's one of the best defenses out there for the last few years. I don't have a problem taking them, and I still think there are players that.
Would you take them over, say, the upside of Josh Gordon?
Well, look at it this way.
Or Tavon Austin?
Yes, I would. And the reason is Seattle defense could get you 150 fantasy points or more easily. A lot of the good defenses often get more. You don't get that very often, and you haven't got to worry. It's one of them you can just. It's all year long.
I mean, their ADP is 93. We're picking them a lot later than that.
A lot later. It's just the perfect situation for a best player available team. You don't always have to go the standard method if something is too valuable.
And Jordan Howard's not an
look at the team we've built. You've got Cam Newton and the Seattle defense, plus all those other players that we've already spoke about. This looks a pretty beast team.
Okay,
you wouldn't be disappointed with that.
I mean, if they'd gone, then you probably wouldn't look at defence. Maybe Houston if they were there.
Now we're at a point now where we really need to start considering the tight end position, and we've got 2 that have been offered to us. And
we've only got 3 running backs, and we've got 4 wide receivers.
Yeah, we're going to have to look at that probably first. I suppose you're right. So let's see what running backs we've got.
Well, you've got a couple of rookies. You've got Jordan Howard, who'd be our cuff probably at Chicago, but Devontae Booker's quite exciting. He's already moving up the ranks.
The one that I like that's sneaky good, but I think we can wait on him is Spencer Ware. So I think
also we've got Chris Johnson, who might be a great cuff, but we might better wait on him.
I think maybe so. And a cuff,
I mean, if we're worried about Johnson
I'm
at
not
all,
worried. I'm not worried about David Johnson. I'm not in the slightest bit worried about DeMarco Murray. Would be worth getting his handcuff just to be on the safe side. I'm kind of thinking playing the statistics.
I think he's gone already.
But seeing as he's gone, then we can't worry about
I think we won't be
it.
doing.
I think at this stage, I'm not going to worry too much about the handcuffs. I think we should just think about the talent. Now, here's the thing I've noticed. This is current situation as we're talking about the best player available. If we look at this draft as it stands now, how far into the draft pick wise are we? Is it
so we're around 11, pick 5.
right? So it's 12. Okay. I think we can still wait on tight ends.
I mean, Gates is still there.
Gates is there, which is a brilliant tight. Mind you, it is a lot of
Josh Gordon got a lot, but before we got Brady, he's going to miss. We don't want to stack all these suspended players.
No, we don't. No. I think if you were being, you said it yourself. I think the running back is kind of the interesting area.
There's no one excited on.
There's nobody excited, and I'd rather get players with an upside. So I'm going to wait on the running backs. I think we've already got two quarterbacks, so we know we're set there. We kind of snookered ourselves a little bit because we've already got wide receivers. So I'm going to kind of play a mini hunch here, and this is what I'm going to do, and I recommend that we do in this situation. Devin Funches.
Really, even though we've got the.
Yeah, or Spencer Ware. Take them early. Forget the ADP at this point because ADP is unimportant.
But I think we can wait though. I think
Well, if that's the case, then
whereas we won't get Booker maybe.
Are there players there that you feel comfortable?
I think Gates or I'd probably take Gates or Gordon's a bit worrying, but he's always tradable. People always want Gordon.
Yeah,
despite the fact that he's out.
Yeah,
and he's got problems. He's always very tradable.
I think to buy ourselves a little bit more time, let's take the tight end Antonio Gates. Let's go with the veteran and see what falls, and then we don't have to worry about snookering ourselves into a bad pick because sometimes that happens. You're looking at it and thinking, I don't really like any of these. We could wait.
Yeah, Coates went. He was another.
Spencer Ware's gone.
And Funches.
Yeah, not surprised there. That would be the area that I would have targeted those guys. Which is
we've still got Devontae Booker. He's an interesting. Rookie, isn't he?
He is.
We've still got Chris Johnson if we want him.
Yep.
You've got Dorsett and Thomas on the wide receivers.
Yeah, we do need to think about another running back. So I think we'd have to take a chance on. It'll be a lottery shot on Devontae Booker here.
Okay, so
happy to do it because we kind of feel if CJ Anderson. I'm not saying he will not work out. I'm just saying it's worth taking a shot and seeing how it pans out.
Well, he's already up to number 2 on the depth chart, so. So I'd be very tempted to take Chris Johnson now. We're not overpaying for him.
Yep.
And if anything happens to David Johnson, we're
not losing our ability to put a running back in the game. He will definitely get the work. So I agree.
We've not overpaid.
No, let's take the cut.
We've got a safety net in case he has a.
We've still got 2 bench spots left, and just to be a bit sneaky, what I'm going to ask you to do here is it's going to sound odd, but there's a reason. We're playing best player available. What kicker's available? It's the best kicker in the league. But take him. Because you've got arguably one of the best defenses, arguably one of the best quarterbacks, arguably one of the best kickers. These small differences in points, the best player available, will make a difference in the end.
Yeah, so anything they can give you. I mean,
we've still got 2 bench spots, and it's not a large.
We wouldn't do it for anybody else bar him, would we? Really?
No, it's not.
We're looking at the same options. Now that we were looking at last time.
We've not lost anything by doing it.
We've lost Ryan Tannehill. I think we can. With Brady and we're okay.
Okay, so let's see if we can hunt down the list a little bit here. We've got 2 bench spots left to fill, and pick a couple of players out who have tremendous upside. Who we believe.
Keith Marshall's one with the injury that they've got with Jones. He's definitely one with an upside.
I think he would be sneaky good based on the information we've got, and I'm not unhappy to take him.
I mean, you've got Tyler Boyd, but then and to Jay Sharp, who are 2 rookies.
I would say that it would be
even
worth,
Ted Ginn.
Yeah, I'd be tempted.
James White is still there.
Yeah, I would take another running back. Take James White.
Would you take him above Keith Marshall?
Yeah, take him above Keith Marshall because we know Dion Lewis is out.
So he's gonna miss at least.
We don't care about the ADP because we've only got 2 spots left. So we're going to take James White because we just want someone else who we feel could be very valuable to our team, and then we'll look at what's left because everybody else is going. As predict. I thought this might happen, which is the reason in best player available it really works in your favour is because we took the kicker 2 rounds before the end. Now everybody's taking the defences and the kickers. Now those players are still out there.
Yeah.
So we've still got the option here. We could take either Tajay Sharp, Tyler Boyd. I like Tajay Sharp. I think it's a great opportunity.
Yeah. Or
Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, or Keith Marshall. I'll be happy with any of them three. Or Gillisley.
Well, if you think the running backs are still a concern, take Keith Marshall. I wouldn't skip a beat. He's our final.
We've
final
got three
bench.
running backs on the bench.
Yeah, which is pretty-
One's our handcuff. One's a rookie, and one's probably going to play the first 6 weeks
So I
of the
think,
season if we need.
I think we can take a
A
shot.
lot of bye week nines.
Yeah. Take a shot at Tajay Sharp because his bye week's actually very favourable. We'll see how he works out for our lineup.
Okay.
I think he's very early in the year, isn't he?
He's
late in the year. Sorry, bye week
he's
13.
bye week 13.
Perfect. So he's a player you can plug in with some of these bye week 13. So that's pretty good. That team has ended up looking good. They won't like it on paper.
Well, they have. They give us an A
A-.
minus. They're not too
92
bad.
out of 100, which is good. But I like it because this is the end team that we've got. We've ended up with Newton. So no problem there. And we've backed him up with Tom Brady. I mean, that's just exceptional.
I mean, they're two elite
we
quarterbacks.
can mix and match on any week and we'll probably end up with incredible numbers. And on top of that, we've got David Johnson and DeMarco Murray. I've got a funny feeling DeMarco Murray's on for another good year here. We know what David Johnson could do. And we've got good support. We've got Jeremy Langford as a player we could plug in potentially in the flex. We've got two excellent wide receivers. One of them one of them's youthful with minimal experience but a good upside, and one's very, very experienced with, probably not going to improve much.
He'll have steady numbers, won't he? And that's something that's not a bad thing when you're doing.
Good team, solid all round, and look at let's go through the lineup then. So you've got Newton, Johnson, Murray, Cooper Fitzgerald, Antonio Gates, Jeremy Langford, Seattle defence. I'll never be able to pronounce his name.
Gokowski.
Thank you for saying it. Tyler Lockett, these are on the bench. Tom Brady, John Brown, Devontae Booker, Chris Johnson, James White and Tajay Sharp. I think you'll agree that's a very exciting and strong team who will give anybody a matchup nightmare any week.
And if a couple of the rookies like Booker and Sharp take off, we're really laughing.
Now, this will be something we should try this strategy out again at another point on a very much bigger league to see how the differences in how difficult it is to pull off. But in this 12-team one, it's worked out very well.
Okay, so this is a strategy taking the best player available. If you're still watching and you like the video, please give it the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks very much.